I get a lot of questions on my YouTube channel, and as you can imagine, I can't answer every single one of them. And some of them I've never even answered in a video today, so today's the day that I'm going to answer all of them. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And some of y'all can get kind of ugly, I'm not going to lie. Oh, I love this one. It says, okay, is it me? Is her hand motions very distracting? Every time she raises her hand, I feel like I'm about to slap her. Maybe less hand movements with your next video. Thank you and please. I'm Italian. I talk with my hands. Dad's Italian. My mom is Swedish. This is what happens. RDC Eagles 10 said, why is this lady against tiny homes? My tiny home is debt-free, minimal bills. That's money in the bank and not to a mortgage. And this was on the video for 5 reasons not to buy a tiny home. Here's the thing. I don't know why you got that impression why I'm against tiny homes. Maybe from the title alone. But if you watch the video, I was just saying I couldn't put a tiny home in my backyard. Now this right here, this building that I have is a kind of like a tiny home, but it doesn't have a bathroom or a kitchen. So it's not really a tiny home. I did have some neighbors that were questioning what this structure was. And once, that all got cleared with the HOA, then they're totally fine with it. Some areas do not allow for tiny homes. I am 100% all for any affordable housing option that doesn't require you to have a mortgage. I think it's fantastic that people are finding more affordable places and ways to live. I'm not against tiny homes. Never have been, never will be. This comment I actually shared on a public speaking gig because it's just so funny. I'm just going to put it on the screen so you guys can read it with me. And this is from Henrik. He said, sweetie, you tell us you're an expert. You are annoying. You don't tell us anything new. Just the same garbage we heard already. Garbage, garbage. Henrik, I'm so happy that you have been watching all my videos and you know that everything that I say is exactly the same every single one. And I also wanted to let you know that you're spelled expert wrong. Expert. Henrik, I'm going to give you a little heads up. And this information is free and I've never shared it before on my channel. So this one's just for you. Just to let you know, Google is free, so you can look up spelling, and Grammarly you can download for free as well. Not paid sponsorship, by the way. You can just download those. It's free. It will help with your mean comments. On my video about the 5 biggest truths about manufactured homes, Columbus Palmer said, can you get a manufactured home if your only income is Social Security? Technically, yes, but you're going to have a hard time finding a lender that's going to be able to approve you for probably the amount that you're going to be able to qualify for. There's nothing saying that you can't do it. It's most likely you're going to have a hard time finding a property that will fit within your income parameters. So it's a kind of like a yes and no answer. I hate giving those kinds of answers, but in theory, yes, you can get approved. But you're most likely not going to be able to find a property that would fit those parameters that you are collecting Social Security under. Just something to think about. Now, if you're collecting Social Security and you have other income coming in, check with your lender to see how much more you could possibly qualify for. Those are questions you're really going to want to meet with your lender about because there's going to be all sorts of different ways they're going to qualify you for a mortgage. This one I get called out about, and it's on the 5 biggest lies about modular homes. Ashley Hathaway wanted to know, I would ask my Botox guy to inject a little more laterally on your forehead the next time. It'll help avoid the Spock eyebrow effect. Informative video though. Cheers. All right, Ashley, here's the truth. I'm 50 years old, and yeah, I've gotten my fair share of Botox, but I have given up on the needle. I love the stuff, by the way. I would gargle it if I could. It's just way too expensive, and in this economy, nobody's getting Botox anymore. Not this chick. Out of all that information, that's what she got out of it. My Botox. So crazy. Kevin Davis on my video on what I hate about modular homes wants to know what I think about 3D printed homes. And I think I've made it pretty clear. 3D printed homes have their place. I just don't think they have their place yet. They're really cool. They're really neat to look at. But as well as they're neat to look at, there is some aesthetic things that most people don't like because of the fact that they look like tubes of toothpaste that are just laid on top of each other. The equipment to put 3D printed homes together is very, very, very heavy. So if you were going to do your own individual project, you're probably not going to be saving any money using a 3D printed engineer to be able to put this machine that's like 3 tons, or I think it's even 4 tons, to print your house. You have to be very careful. You have to have the whole area tented so that no leaves or debris get on the tubes of toothpaste of cement, and then it gets poured. All of those things are an extra expense that wouldn't be necessary in traditional home building. It's really neat. It's really cool. I think there is going to be a place for for it in the future. I just don't think we're quite there yet. I think the only way that a 3D printed home would really work is if you did the whole entire community in 3D printed homes, so that way that machine could follow around and those engineers could follow around with it. But for your own individual project, I'd wait. I'd wait for the 3D printing to come a little further down the track. I couldn't do this video without my favorite hater who always comments on every single one of my videos. I even blocked him at one time, but they made another account. His name is George Reno, and I'm not sure who he is, but he loves to trash me all the time. This one was about homes are staying on the market a lot longer. He said, "What's the point of having 200+ K subs if nobody's watching your videos? You need to report what's really going on." George is convinced that I'm trying to withhold information from you, saying that the housing market is falling apart. Everybody's going to be selling their houses for 50 to 60% less in 6 months. But this video was actually posted in July this year, and we're still not 50 to 60% under where we need to be. Matter of fact, the home prices are still going up in most markets across the United States. Sorry, George. Sorry you want me to make housing crash videos. There's a million other channels that do, but I'm not going to report on something that doesn't exist. But thank you so much for watching every single one of my videos and for commenting on every single one and being so dedicated that you felt like you had to make several different profiles just to make your comments. Don't think I don't see them, because I do. Love you, George. Mean it. Andy wanted to know on the video that I had done about never buy this affordable land unless you know this. This video was strictly about all the things that could possibly go wrong when you're buying affordable land. And really it's true of any kind of land, if I'm going to be honest with you. But there is numerous things when it comes to purchasing land. Numerous. And if you're not working with a real estate agent that understands the purchase of land, you could get yourself into super hot water. The only person I could tell you to work with when it comes to purchasing land is to find an agent in that area that specializes in land. I know in more rural areas, there usually is one specific agent that sells all the land, and they'll know exactly what you need to know when you're purchasing it. So it may take you a little bit more time to investigate that, but make sure that you interview each and every one of them. Ask them lots of questions that you would need to know for each specific lot. If they can't answer those questions, you need to move on to another real estate agent. If you don't know what questions to ask, I have something for you. Hold on. Here it is. I want you to go out and get this book that has everything you possibly need to know. It's definitely a great breakdown of the very simplified version of buying land. She's a friend of mine. It will show you everything you could possibly know. It's like the land Bible. She is a friend of mine. There is no affiliate to it, but it will let you know the types of questions that you need to ask, especially in certain regions. My video about affordable land for your next home to build, I got an exceptional amount of comments about the clothes I was wearing, the pants I was wearing, the overalls I was wearing. And I have something to confess to all of you, is that most of the time you see me from here up, but I generally just wear clothes that make me feel comfortable. And it ends up making me either A, look like I'm dressed like a toddler, or B, I'm dressed like a clown. I think I look like a marshmallow. It's because it's comfortable. And I'm only dressing for one thing, comfort. I don't have to impress anybody anymore, because you guys only see me from here up. But let me show you the pants I'm wearing. You're gonna kick out of this. Hold on, let me move this chair out of the way. Can you see these pants? I mean, like, look, they're huge. They're like MC Hammer pants. Hammer, 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 they put me in the mix. Hammer, 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 they put me in the mix. I love wearing these kinds of clothes. Nobody can tell what my body shape is. All it looks like is that I'm a marshmallow, and that's fine. And I have you know I sold like a ton of those pants on my Amazon link because everybody kept asking about it. Men hate those pants. Women love those pants. On a video I just put out a couple weeks ago about home ownership will collapse because of this, several people were asking about build to rent. But the one question that kept coming up was, what about homes to rent that you could purchase? So they were like, basically you rent the house for a period of time and then that rent would go towards the purchase price of buying the house in the future. And that usually has a time frame. So there's very few companies that do this. Usually individual landlords will offer this, but it doesn't necessarily pan out. You have to remember that when you negotiate that price for the purchase price of that house, it has to be the purchase price at the time that you were starting to rent that house. What if the house that you were renting was at $300,000 at that moment, right? And the market had shifted and now that house is only worth $250,000. At the end of your lease, are you going to want to purchase that house at $300,000? Absolutely not. Most likely you won't even be able to get a mortgage on it because of the fact that it had decreased $50,000 and you're not going to want to come out of your own pocket $50,000 for a house that you're renting. Now, not Not all of them work that way, but in most cases, I've not seen where it actually worked out, where you were paying rent for a long period of time and that you would purchase the house. All sorts of kooky things can happen. I had one person that was doing this. They had been paying their landlord for 5 years. Then when it came time for them to purchase it, the landlord said, well, I'm not ready to sell. And they were like, but that's what our plan was from the beginning. You said you'd sell it to us. And he's like, well, I'm not ready to sell. And they're like, okay, well, can we have the money that we had towards the rent to go ahead and purchase a house somewhere else? He said no, because the contract states that it would be towards purchasing the house. He never put a time limit on how long it would be before they could purchase the house, or if he actually even had to purchase the house. So if you're going to do something like that, make sure that you understand the contract that you're signing when you're renting out a house and that you're planning on purchasing it later. But I've never heard of anybody like renting for years and years and years and years and years, and at the end of like 25 years now they own the house. That has never happened in the history of the world that I know of, unless some landlord was being extremely kind in handing over that house. This one deserved a snarky remark back, and I actually did respond back, and he said, purple hair, ... Jesus. And of course, me being me, I said, Jesus had purple hair? I had no idea. Oh, I hope Barbara Marks had as much fun with that comment as I did. This is my favorite response to when people say they're going to unsubscribe. I know it's snarky, but you know you were thinking it. People announce it like, woo! I love getting real estate questions. And I love hearing some of your nasty comments too, because honestly, they make me laugh. So who cares? You know, you guys have asked some really cool questions, but if you have more questions, please put them in the comments section below. And in my future video about this, I will be answering them from this very video. To watch more videos about the real estate market and what's going on, you're going to want to watch these videos right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer, and I tell you all this because good real estate information matters.